Hello, welcome to Thematic Data Analysis, presented by myself, Dr. Lisa Burnside. This is going to be an overview of thematic data analysis. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can do this. I'm just going to present the concept in this video. Whatever you are doing in your study, everything revolves around your research question. The one we will use today is, what marketing strategies do restaurant leaders use to increase sales? And keep in mind, that's everything you do in your study will revolve around that particular question. Today, we will talk about the data analysis piece. Everything's going to start and end with your research question. So I'm going to assume that you use your research question, your conceptual framework, your theoretical framework to create your interview questions, your case studies, the data gathering. You're going to take all of that data that you gathered and you need to transcribe it into text, whether it's interviews, documents, websites, whatever it is, images even. You need to have text that explains it. So once it's transcribed, then we are going to create some initial codes based on that research question and the framework, and we'll make a list of those terms. We'll read through the data to find these terms and other important terms and phrases, which will become our codes. We'll add those to our list, and then we will group all of those codes into categories that will make sense. Then we'll take all those categories, group them, and that will create our themes in relation to our research question. And then the last step that we'll do in this analysis is to define the themes to tell the story. Let's begin. Transcribing all the data, you are going to turn absolutely everything into text. So whether you have a website, a document, audio recordings, interview recordings, it all has to be transcribed into text so that the text is what we will be analyzing here. And you can do the transcription. You can have somebody else do the transcription. There are many websites that do the transcription. Make sure, though, that you keep the privacy in your data. And as you are transcribing, make sure that whatever you said, how you are going to identify your participants, that's what is in the transcriptions. So you will take all that, turn it into text, and then we can work with it. So then we're going to create those initial codes. We're looking at our research question. What marketing strategies do restaurant leaders use to increase sales? Then we're going to pick some of those key terms out of there, such as marketing, strategies, restaurant, leaders, and sales. Some people might want to increase sales, which is totally fine. And I turned them different colors initially for a reason. As I'm finding some of these codes and some of these terms, I'd like to try to group them right away. So I assign everything a little bit different color. And then I take the framework. And in this case, we are going to use the transactional marketing of the 4 Ps: product, price, promotion, and place. Well, product is kind of on its own here, but price could have something to do with sales. They're kind of in a similar category. Promotion and marketing are in a similar category, so I made that red. And then place and restaurant, I see that myself as a similar category. And you may not, that's okay. But I'm just walking you through how I am approaching this particular one. Then I take all of those words, I throw it on an Excel spreadsheet. And again, I'm going to put them in with the colors that I chose to use for those to help me in my initial grouping. So then here's our raw data. We're going to read through it. I always put my research question at the top so I can kind of keep that top of mind as I'm reading through. But as we go through, your stuff, if this is an interview, we don't need to analyze that. It should be the same for every single interviewee. So we really don't need to have that analyzed as part of our data, at least when we're doing this individually here. So my participant 1, I'm reading through and see, okay, here's a key term, customer loyalty program. Sure sounds like a strategy to me. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to highlight all of these other terms or phrases that I think sound very important and have something to do with my research question, such as app, specials, track, order, target the customer. There's order again, discounts, a share button, reviews. Here's app again, check-in option, social media sites, app again, connection, target marketing, specials, loyalty points, discounts, easy reviews, and upload pictures. Now, part of the reason that every time they said app, I highlighted it. And normally what I would do, I would be turning the colors that have to go with where I think they should go. But the reason I highlighted app each and every time is because I want to know when my data shows the same information over and over and over and over again, this is something maybe I should be paying attention to. So every time I see it, I highlight it in there. Now, the next thing is I'm going to take these words and phrases and I'm going to add them to the list of codes. And what I did is I took them and I put them in with my initial codes where I thought that they should go. But if you look to the bottom of the list, there's customers down there. Well, customers were not on my main list. Now, some people may think, well, leaders, customers, they're people. Maybe they should go together. Okay. For me with this, I was thinking more leadership traits to go in with leaders. And then customers would be interactions with customers or feedback perhaps maybe from customers or identifying features maybe of customers. I don't know. I don't have to make sense of it right at this moment. I'm just putting the words in here. And even though I highlighted app a whole bunch of times, I'm only going to put it on my list once, but I can always do and throw this into a software or even do a word count by looking at number of words to see how often some of these words were used. And if you want to, you could add another column for counting your words if you want to. I highly recommend if you have a lot of data that you use software to do this for you. But I just want to show you that we take all that data, we find the words and phrases, they become our codes, and we need to track them, compare them, and group them. So now what I'm going to do is group some of those words, those phrases, into some categories that maybe make some sense to me. So one of the big things, as I said, was using the app. Well, what kinds of things did I find about using the app? Well, check-in, order, and we collect, they said a lot about collecting data using that app. So those codes I thought made a lot of sense as using the app category. Then I created another category for social media. And so when they talked about the social media sites, sharing, and then even the social media names, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, all of those would go in this category. And then the third category I came up with was reviews. They talked about easy reviews and connection and uploading pictures. And I think all of those make sense to come together in a category called reviews. Now, you're going to have a lot more categories than just 3. The list can go on and on and on, but you take all those wonderful codes and you group them together and what makes sense? What do these group of codes kind of represent? And you put them into categories. Then we're going to take those categories and we're going to group them even tighter to find our themes. So once again, we go back to our research question. What marketing strategies do restaurant leaders use to increase sales? Well, the theme that I thought from that is to provide an app for customers. And under that, I thought, well, promote on social media would be good because the app connects to that. Provide reviews because they could do the reviews directly from the app. They could order food on the app. And the app also allows tracking of order and preferences. So all of those underlying groupings that I had, I thought that all made sense to come together to create a strategy of provide an app for customers. And then my next thing is I need to define that theme. What exactly does it mean? So again, here's my research question. And I've come up with 3 potential themes, pulling all my data together. My first was to provide an app for customers. My second was to implement a customer loyalty program. And my third was to use community events for promotion. And now I have to explain What do those themes mean? They certainly look like potential marketing strategies. So now I'm going to go into all that subdata to pull in that information to explain how did they provide the app? Why did they provide the app? What do they get out of providing the app? And the same with the customer loyalty programs. I might pull in all kinds of information on customer loyalty programs and then community events for promotions, such as getting involved in parades or children events or water parks or whatever the case may be, whatever makes sense to your organization. And that's what my people were telling me about. That's what I saw maybe on their social media. And these were the three key marketing strategies that I found throughout all my data that I'm going to talk about. And all of those groups of categories, they're underneath each of these. And then I can do my write-up. Thank you for viewing this particular video. For more, please visit burnsidedynamics.com.